The territory of Puerto Rico is in a financial crisis very similar to the one in Greece. For a number of years, Puerto Rico has held specific tax advantages as a territory that's allowed to borrow extremely cheaply for a number of years. This has caused the territory of Puerto Rico to run up a debt of $72 billion, according to the U.S. Treasury, which is larger than some states, including Alaska, North Dakota, South Dakota, and Wyoming. On July 9, 2015, the U.S. Court of Appeals ruled that Puerto Rico could not legally restructure its own debt. The government is running short of cash, its citizens are emigrating to the mainland, and will end up having to default. In 2014, Puerto Rico saw the biggest drop in its population since the end of World War II. And by 2050, the population of Puerto Rico is expected to drop by 3 million people, according to Al Jazeera America. Puerto Rico's governor has repeatedly said the island can't pay back all of its debt that owns the creditors. The governor, Alejandro Garcia Padilla, says the island is in a death spiral that is turning into a humanitarian crisis. The island is now struggling to pay teachers and is delaying payments to companies such as the vendor that supplies food to its prisons. Puerto Rico is so short of funds that it has already defaulted twice, once in August and once in early January. The U.S. has a moral obligation to Puerto Rico, as we only obtained them from a war of aggression in Spain and treated the Puerto Ricans like gum stuck under a shoe for over half a century, imposing laws that Puerto Rico should not be obligated to follow and ignoring several cries for independence. The same reasons that we seceded from Great Britain are the same reasons why Puerto Rico wanted to be free. No taxation without representation. Independence is the key to Puerto Rico's survival, not statehood. This would give them the autonomy they need to make their own economic decisions. While under U.S. rule, poverty has continued in large numbers in Puerto Rico. Unemployment is still above 13%, and nearly a third of the population is on food stamps, according to CNBC. Elizam Escobar, who is an independent activist, stated that in the U.S., they have a cold. Here in Puerto Rico, we have pneumonia. U.S. laws have prohibited Puerto Rico's competitiveness within the world economy as well. The Merchant Marine Act of 1920 prohibits non-American ships from carrying goods between Puerto Rico and the U.S. mainland. This hinders growth by increasing transportation costs as well as making it too burdensome for Puerto Rico to keep close import-export relationships with other nations. Furthermore, because of NAFTA, also known as the North American Free Trade Agreement, tourism and manufacturing has been diverted from the island, and there has been little to no stoppage of this flow. According to the Washington Post, from 2007 to 2012, the manufacturing sector shrank by 4.5%. Puerto Rico has the right to become its own independent country, especially if the rights of its people have been infringed, and the government that they can't even vote for does nothing to aid them. So this is why I urge the fellow members of Congress to vote in negation of this piece of legislation. Thank you.